All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are cracking the exam code. I'm talking about a blueprint for success, one that's built on these totally predictable patterns that just keep showing up year after year.
Just think about this for a second. What if you could walk into that exam room already knowing what's on the paper? What if all that stress, that uncertainty just vanished? Imagine having an inside track on exactly what to focus on.
Well, guess what? You absolutely can. One source we looked at put it bluntly. Exam setters are basically lifting questions from the same places over and over. So what does that tell us? It tells us an exam isn't some big mystery. It's a pattern. And today, you and we're going to decode that pattern.
Okay, so we're going to tackle this with what I'm calling the Smart Study Pyramid. And like any good pyramid, we've got to start with a solid foundation. This is where you lock in the majority of your marks right off the bat.
Get a load of this. We're talking 60 to 70%. That's how many questions on your average exam are not new. Seriously, they're just recycled, repeated, and rotated from old papers. This right here, this is our biggest clue.
So what does that mean for you? It means your number one top priority, the most important thing you can possibly do, is to master previous year's questions. The source couldn't be clearer. The questions just rotate. This isn't just studying, people. This is playing the game smarter.
All right, next up, topic number 2. You got to focus on the very first unit or the first chapter of your syllabus. And you might be asking, why? Well, it's simple. These are the building blocks, right? The core concepts. Examiners will almost always throw in questions from here just to see if you've got the basics down. And that brings us to another goldmine for easy marks: definitions and short notes. I'm talking about those key terms in subjects like DBMS or economics, or even just memorizing the simple formulas in statistics. These are the quick-fire questions that are super easy to prep for. Look, don't sleep on these. Those little questions, they add up big time. By just mastering the definitions, you're basically locking in all those 2, 3, 4, or 5-mark questions that show up on literally every single paper. We're talking guaranteed points here.
All right, so our foundation is solid. Let's move up to the next layer of our pyramid. This is the core. This is where we start building the real bulk of your score.
And right here in the core, we find the heavy hitters. I'm talking about those big, beefy, long answer questions. The ones worth anywhere from 8 to 15 marks. You know the type. Explain the advantages and disadvantages. That kind of thing.
Okay, now listen up, because this is a bit of an insider tip. It comes straight from the source material. Topic 5, diagram-based questions. Apparently, a ton of students just skip over these. And let me tell you, that is a massive mistake.
Why is it a mistake? Because here's the secret. Examiners love a good, clean, well-labeled diagram. It just screams that you actually understand the concept, you know? It's such an easy way to stand out and grab those extra marks that can really push your score up.
And in that same vein, we've got topic number 6, numericals and problem solving. It doesn't matter if it's statistics, mean, median, mode, or problems from accounts or math. These are an absolute favorite for examiners. So yeah, practicing these is completely non-negotiable.
Up next, topic 7, the classic compare and contrast questions. You can see a great example right here, pinning a DBMS against a file system. It's a really straightforward format that just wants to see if you can lay out the differences between two concepts side by side.
And the best part? These questions are usually easy, and they're high scoring. I mean, if you can just pop the differences into a simple table like this, you're basically setting yourself up for full marks. It's a no-brainer.
Okay, foundation, check. Core, check. Now it's time to climb to the very peak of our pyramid. This is what separates the students who get 90% from the ones who get 99%. This is the topper's edge.
And you really want to pay attention to this one. Topic number 8, case studies and application questions. This is being called out as the big trend for 2026. I'm serious. School boards, universities, everyone is jumping on this.
So what exactly is an application-based question? It's pretty simple, actually. It's all about taking the theory from your textbook and applying it to a real-life situation. Think a business case study or a real-world problem. It's not just about memorizing stuff. It's about proving you can actually use it. Moving on to topic 9. These are the tricky conceptual questions. The ones that really make you think. They're specifically designed to weed out the people who just memorize stuff from the people who genuinely understand it. If you can crack these, yeah, you're in the topper zone, for sure.
And that brings us to our final peak topic, number 10, the why and explain questions. This is the ultimate test of how well you know your stuff. It's not enough to say DBMS is better. You have to explain why it's better. Answering the why is how you prove you've reached true mastery.
So there you have it, all 10 topics, all structured to help you succeed. Now let's wrap this all up into a simple, actionable blueprint you can start using like today. This is it, the whole strategy on one screen. You start at the bottom with the foundation. That's your past papers, chapter 1, and all those definitions. That's how you lock in that first 60 to 70%. Then you move up to the core, building on that with your long answers, diagrams, and numericals. And finally, you reach the peak. This is where you go for the top marks with case studies and those tricky conceptual questions. It's a simple, powerful, step-by-step plan.
So, we've cracked the code. We've laid out the pattern. You now have the entire blueprint for the 2026 exams. So the question isn't, what's going to be on the test anymore? The real question is, what are you going to do with this information? You got the blueprint. Now what are you going to build with it?